kid outside my window doing flag. Anyway, he's been outside practicing every day. But anyhow, I've always been really passionate about helping people, of course, and especially kids. And it wasn't about like, oh, because my kids aren't with me, because we all know my children have been manipulated to such a degree, two of them, to stay away from me, and then of course fear mongered to the masses, you know, from every person that was in their life, to basically believe that I was crazy and that I was incapable of being a good mom. And I believed that for a long, long time. Okay. And again, this is before I realized even what witchcraft is. Like, I'm just learning about it in the last year, 6 months, 7 months, starting mainly in October. And of course, I just want to say thank you, Jordan, so much for everything that you've shared with us. And you were really the person that gave me hope. You know, back in like 2022, you were just talking mainly about narcissists. And I was like, whoa, huh. Somebody speaking this language that I'm just learning about narcissists. I didn't even really know what a narcissist was. Like, I associated with Lauren Marquez when I started to like do some research. I mean, there was never a moment I could really breathe, much less study or learn about psychiatric or psychological, you know, behaviors, diagnosis, or whatever. But once I had time, I started looking into it. When I started realizing what narcissists were, I was like, oh, she's definitely that. And then as time went on, I realized, like, it seems like I'm starting to realize more and more people that I know are like this, I think. You know, and it was a long unfolding of truth for me. I mean, as you can imagine, I've been in like a spiritual or whatever. Like, I've been having amnesia my whole life. Like, I've been asleep. Like, I've been sheltered from my own reality. Now, remember, I have mentioned this many times, but I was met last year, 4721 Frontier Trail in Austin, Texas, on March 21st, which is upon us. And the Lord met me in the front yard. And He showed me a little girl that was kept in a cellar. And I don't want to get into that story so much as I do want to talk about my passion for saving children. Now, this has always been my heart. And I've been fighting for my kids to get my children my whole life in terms of with them since I've had them. I've been fighting against the system. I've been fighting against the person that got me pregnant the first time, which I have two sons by. It doesn't matter the darkness that came with the idea of what happened, how I got pregnant. Okay, you could just imagine. It was not consensual. I was not aware that I was even having sex. Let's start with that. But moving forward, I've been fighting my ass off in every which way, shape, and form you could think of to get my children and for them to know that I love them and they are loved by their mother. Now, it took for me to learn how to love myself to even begin to have them in a proper manner and to be effective and to be what they deserve. Because most importantly, I wanted them to know love like none of us ever really knew before. And that's true unconditional love that only God can show us. And the kind of love that's in First Corinthians. That's where I learned it from, just like a few years back. Literally. So, like, and again, I'll tell y'all the story until the time comes that I am told not to. I got pregnant for a third time. Now, mind you, I have two babies at the time that are, it was okay. So in '04, so it was like, I have a 2 and a 3 year old. Okay. And I get pregnant on November 25th of 2004. I was fighting the first sperm donor monster for my children because I had left him, and I divorced him because I was basically told to marry. I mean, I just pretty much submitted my own will and gave up because no one supported me. I was already told my family what happened, how I got pregnant, and how bad it was. It was a very terrible, horrific experience, and they were just like, no, they didn't really care. I didn't have any support. I didn't have anyone saying, hey, what? That's no. That's unacceptable. I didn't have that. Okay? So I was just always trying to figure it out. And I was young. I was 20. And, it was my 20th birthday. I got pregnant. And then I got pregnant again when I was 21. And had a second son. And my children are my lifeline. I mean, that is what I know. I've always was meant to be a mom, a mother, and I was going to be a good mother. It was the last thing I did. Okay, so I got pregnant again by Jacob, the one that's been in the background. We know, and I did love him as much as I could love a person, and I believed that one day, whatever. But there was a big time gaps between he and I, because he was always going to jail, always in trouble. I mean, his excuses and the reasons why I used to give him for being not a good person to me are past. I'm way past that. Okay? But the thing is, I got pregnant by him on November 25th of 2004. Now, my family knew I was gifted as a child growing up. I mean, I was also sacrificed. I didn't know that until just recently. Okay? Now, I get pregnant because Jacob takes my birth control patch off me. I have sex with him one day, whatever, I get pregnant. Both him and Greg, which was the first monster that I have 2 children with, that they're beautiful. They're smart and they're not anything like that. But, because they're mine. But they both told me I was pregnant because I was very skinny. I was like 115 pounds. I'd been using drugs. I had no support again. I'm dealing with, all these really distorted people that have, don't know how to fix or heal any parts of them. And I'm just barely hanging on there, fighting for my 2 sons, doing everything I can. I barely have a place over my head. I don't have a job. I don't believe I'm even qualified. I don't believe I'm smart. I don't believe I can do anything on my own. But I'm doing what I can do to fight, to survive every day, right? And so here Jacob gets me pregnant on purpose. And here I am pregnant. And I find out on Christmas. I realize it's right. I'm like, oh my God. Because here, those 2 guys just happened to tell me. But I was so small, I guess you could see. And so, it turns out I was pregnant and I didn't know what to do. I literally was like, oh my God, I've been using drugs. I don't think this baby's going to be messed up or something's wrong. Like, all the things that you would think of when you're in a situation, something like this. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't know the severity of my life. I didn't know how bad it was. I didn't. I was just one day at a time, 1 second at a time, just becoming Oblivion. I found a game they made of me thinking it's funny. Eric was playing in John's friend called Oblivion. And there's another one I found was released. They made last April, by the way. Obscured Claire's. Real clever. Right? Well, it showed up in my phone. When I opened it yesterday, it was just there. Because this is what I get guided to these things, or they appear for me, or whatever. But my point is, I went to go have an abortion because I was like, I don't even have my other 2 boys. I've been threatened and I've been violated in so many which ways. I have no way to provide or support this child. Jacob's going to be in jail all the time. Something's probably wrong with it. I was scared to death. But again, I didn't know about the amount of witchcraft and subjected me to complete sacrifice me as a baby because I was different. Because I was loving and a light in my family. So I was scared. And so I went to go have an abortion on May 15th of 2005. And turns out, 20 years later, last year I reconnected with Jacob. He was sent to me, I guess the CIA or whatever. Long story short, he got a contract made with someone and got my daughter that I had a baby girl, and I always knew it was a little girl. And took her and sold her. Whoever signed my name or whatever happened for that clinic off of IH-35 in North Austin, across from Woodland Heights Apartments, where I believed I was having an abortion. No, they kept my child. And they went and continued to nurture in the NICU unit and had a baby that is mine, Claudia Alexandra, that they call Snow the product. That is my daughter. And And she knows, and I know she knows, and she knows I know. We have made contact, people. You wonder why these people have done the most to me and blocked me every which way to Sunday and have me over here in a hotel room in Burleson, Texas, while everyone in the world knows where I'm at, but no one can help me, right? You know why? Because everybody's linked to this situation that knows about it. Every place I've been around monsters, witches, warlocks. I didn't even know what that was, y'all. I didn't know about the 33rd degree Mason. I don't know about this shit. I didn't know any of it. Y'all kept me in spiritual blindness, but the Lord wanted me like that. Because I would never have been able to make it. And my daughter, and my kids, and I have a grandson, Andrew, Dylan, Devin, Claudia, Andrew, and then not to mention Greg had another baby, Ashley. She has a little girl. And I'm going to get these kids. They're mine. Ashley's more than welcome. I would love to see these children, though. I'm tired of being here in this suspense when everyone knows that I know that you know. And y'all keep playing with me in these text messages trying to say you're going to send me here. No. The Lord did not lead me here to leave me. And I am a mother. I'm a great mother. I never stop fighting for my kids. No matter hell or high water. Y'all tried to kill me over and over and over. Y'all tried everything to break me the fuck down. And all I've done is continue to rise. And I'm tired. And not to mention cathartic grid. Pregnant. Right now. With another little baby angel. Or two. I don't know. But I'm not about to go to a doctor around here. Mary didn't go to a doctor when she was pregnant with Jesus, did she? No. It was a sacred space. My children are super sacred. Every one of them. And I'm not going to stop fighting. But I don't think it's really proper for me to have to fight in this condition, do you? I wouldn't do this to anyone, and I don't know how, at this point, I would even have to get on here and it stresses. But again, Snow the product, that's my daughter. And why do you think I have her in my profile picture? I'm not like some groupie. I'm definitely not starstruck except for my children. Those are my stars. Oh, my stars. Yeah. Oh, my stars. And I don't know however, whoever was a part of doing this, I don't even know. I have no words for you. I really don't. I mean, I know this is it's a plethora of people. Everyone wants to be in denial, act like they don't know anything, and that's your business. It really is. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and convince you 1333 when I said, I'm not here to convince anyone of who I am or what I am. But what I'm going to do is have my family. If anybody deserves their children and for their children to have a mother that loves them, my children do. And then we can proceed, we would love to take part in amplifying the movement of saving these children and people. Because that has always been something I've done. I have always given my heart to people, but I was giving it to the wrong people. But now that I have the direction clarified, in Jesus' name, I'm able to move forward in the proper manner and not be just like all over the place, scattered amongst the masses, being exploited and at my expense, where I'm left with nothing. No. Again. And I didn't need a man. I said when I was young, I don't want a man. I'll be the mother and the father. Because I knew nothing besides fighting and violence and obsession and psychotic behavior from my mother and my stepfather. And then my dad and stepmom, they weren't a part of my life. I asked my Jacob, can I come live with you when I was 14? Because I had nowhere to go. My mom was moving to Kentucky with my two brothers that I adored and took care of and protected and defended. My body was a weapon, but you know what? My body was harmed as a child to protect them. That was my whole mindset. So I'm not taking this lightly. Obviously, right? I am as calm as one could be in this condition. I'm wondering why you people say my mind is still no. My fight is fierce because I am seeking first the kingdom, and my kids are kingdom kids. I've had enough of this crazy corruption nonsense. I go out to a place where I'm supposed to be safe 4 times in the last week. And what happens for the last time? Oh, of course. And I left my phone to attempt to get somewhere and get something taken care of so I can have stability and safety, right? Finally. And what happens? I'm pulled over by the police, harassed, and they comment, "Oh, you smoke." Don't judge me. That's why I told her, do not judge me. I've had enough. I have sovereignty, sacred sovereignty, and so do my kids. And so does my family, my kingdom spouse, his family. That is my daughter. Again, let me clarify. However, which way it happened, I don't care. She is my child, and she will be calmly and properly connected back to me by my Christ conscious collective. I don't have to address Jacob and Destiny and all the people that took part in the sinister acts. I've already done that. I thought Jacob was in jail. I think he's out. He had a gun. Again, I don't really care. It does not matter to me where, what, when, why, how. I know that vengeance is the Lord's. Again, always was, always will be. I don't take vengeance into my hands. I've done that before. It got me in trouble. Regardless of what the narrative was. What you can't change is DNA. A divine by design. Cathara grid. Tree of life. You can't change that. We were created to create, not to be destroyed. You get that? Okay? So, moving forward, not stagnant, not stuck, standing in truth, righteous right hand of the Father. This is the story of my life and my children's life in a nutshell. In layman's terms. Moving forward. I just wanted to make sure 184344 that I was able to speak out of my mouth again to make sure we're on the same page. Whoever was considering this being a target for you, I'm not a target. I'm not a good target. I've never been a good target unless you needed to be taken out in some way spiritually attacking me. It's not going to work. It hasn't worked, and it's just taken a toll on the whole damn everybody, specifically my kids. And that is something that will never just be let go of and act like we don't know what's going on. Yeah, okay. You want to play that game? I'm done playing the game. You have played on my heartstrings, my emotions, my mind, and the thing is, I can go back and toe to toe. I'm not into it. I'm not feeling it. I don't deserve that, and neither do they.